Hey everybody, another edition of Off the Top Rope here. I've had a day or a night of sleep to really evaluate and analyze really how I feel about the start of the whole big, what seemingly is going to be the big WrestleMania angle, which is who's going to be the Rock's corporate champion, who is going to sell their soul to Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So first things first. If The Rock's not wrestling, what are we doing? But that being said, I do think that there is some level of intrigue of what could happen out of this angle. I think the reason why a lot of the fan base is mad, including myself, as to what has transpired is because Rock, out of last year's, amazing WrestleMania build that was also started by a bizarre segment to set it up, which is why I'm optimistic that this will actually, kind of turn into something great. Um, he had two ready-made matches to potentially have any sort of wrestling match at WrestleMania 41. It looks like we're getting neither of those, which to me is ridiculous. Because if you want to talk about what's good for business if The Rock is coming back is for The Rock to perform, not to be a background character and to be effectively Vince McMahon from 25 years ago when, famously Stone Cold Steve Austin sold his soul to Vince McMahon, which is clearly what this is going towards. So, listen, the start of this was clunky. Rock was meandering. Rock was kind of just, being all about himself, doing whatever he wants, which is why I was frustrated with this. And if The Rock's not wrestling, it's like that's the value in having this. We all want to see Rock versus Roman Reigns. Some of us want to see Rock versus Cody Rhodes. We may get neither of those matches. That to me is where the frustration is. Now, where I think that this angle can go is what's really interesting. Does Cody Rhodes turn heel? Because we've been hinting at this character change that he's had in terms of how he beat the shit out of Kevin Owens and how he's much more not as lovey-dovey and but he still clearly has the affinity of being the golden boy babyface. So Cody could turn heel. John Cena could turn heel. Because remember, John Cena at his Royal Rumble post event press conference, he said, me being in the main event of WrestleMania, me being the WWE champion, that's what's good for business. John Cena, in his last year performing, being a heel, finally, after all of these years, would certainly be something. Then you got CM Punk. Will CM Punk turn heel? Because he's got the favorite. He's determined to get into the main event. Does he sell out to his longtime rival, The Rock? That would be something. Drew McIntyre, who has had this long, arduous arc since he lost the WWE Championship all those years ago during COVID. He has had all of this long and arduous journey to get back to the championship. He wins it at WrestleMania last year, only to be cashed in on. Does he sell out to The Rock, who he famously had interactions with when he was debating about re-signing his contract? So does that happen? Is it Logan Paul? Is it Logan Paul, the multimedia, the megastar guy? Does he sell out? I think that's way further down on the totem pole. I don't think Logan Paul will need to do that, but whatever. Damian Priest, it's not happening. As much as a lot of people in the fan base, for some reason, a lot of people don't like Damian Priest. Damian Priest, it's not happening. Damian Priest is the least likely of any of these guys to win the championship shot here, but still, it creates a little bit of an interesting element. The point is here, and The Rock saying after the event, announcing that hey, not every storyline needs to lead to a match. I was like, Brock, what are you talking about, man? You grew up in this business. Of course there needs to be a match, especially at WrestleMania. Like, what are we doing here? This is where, and what I hate about this is what it is fed into the AEW incel geeks who are saying, thank God for AEW because we don't have to watch a soap opera. I was like, guys, there are more people infinitely more interested in just a storyline than just having a wrestling match for the sake of a wrestling match. That is the difference. Like, if they could create something beautiful in AEW through Hangman Adam Page and MJF having a match based off of their previous history, and two of the best characters that AEW has ever produced can create an amazing storyline, an amazing wrestling match. That is the nature of the beast. What we're having a tough time figuring out, and what was so frustrating about what happened on SmackDown, and what has been so frustrating with AEW, is nobody can find the middle of like creating a great storyline that leads into a wrestling match that recreates all of this drama. Like, it's great that Will Ospreay can put on an amazing wrestling clinic for 20 minutes, but then after it, it's like watching the Transformers for 2.5 hours. It's like, yeah, it's great. It's a lot of action and a lot of crazy shit happen, but nobody's gonna give a shit about it like the next day. It's like, yeah, there was a cool explosion in that, but it's like it's not gonna be remembered for an Oscar or anything like that. So listen, what I'm saying here is like you can have the best of both worlds. And that's the problem with the tribalism in this fan base, is that we're trying to figure out what creates good pro wrestling, what creates good sports entertainment. And we've seen both of these, the what is inherently wrong with the business right now. Like, I love good matches, but I want them to mean something. I love good segments, but they have to mean something. What has made the bloodline so intriguing, what has made Cody Rhodes so intriguing, is we have been groomed to care about these people, and then they have put it in the ring. And for the most part, the matches and the drama that has been created off of that has created amazing television. Right now, we're in this holding pattern because I don't think The Rock wants to wrestle again, which sucks because, again, he created two great WrestleMania future opponents out of thin air, and it looks like we may not get either one of them. And don't dare tell me that based off of that segment that we're going to get Rock Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. How does that make any sense whatsoever? Because you mean to tell me that The Rock, after there is already an Elimination Chamber match with 6 guys fighting to face Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, you mean to tell me that The Rock is going to jump ahead of John Cena, is going to jump ahead of, CM Punk, he's going to jump ahead of Drew McIntyre, and we're just going to bastardize that whole stipulation so The Rock can get his match with Cody? Guys, that match is not happening. If that was your interpretation of what happened in the ring, no. The Rock is not wrestling at WrestleMania. That is my takeaway from this whole thing. And I've been telling you guys that since the Netflix premiere. And it pisses me off because it shows me that this guy has his prior, like, on some level, I kind of agree with The Rock that, hey, you could have angles and stuff and create compelling television. But guys, at the heart of everything, this is professional wrestling. And The Rock is one of the biggest attractions, no matter where he is. And if he's not wrestling, then what the fuck are we doing? That being said, this is very intriguing to see what it does because, hey, look who potentially could be the corporate champion for The Rock in this angle. It could be CM Punk. It could be John Cena. It could be Drew McIntyre. Those are the 3 options, at least for me, that I think are the most intriguing. It could also be Cody Rhodes against any one of those 3 guys. Probably not Drew McIntyre since he's already a heel, but it could be Cody Rhodes in this circumstance. So there is some element of intrigue to this. I'm just frustrated with the execution of how we got here. It was very thrown together at the last minute. The Rock is doing whatever he wants, and that creates bad television in some respect. It was clunky. That being said, once you get past it and you start to see the bigger picture, remember, we were all upset over what happened when Rock just jumped over Cody Rhodes and we were seemingly going to get Rock Roman Reigns at last year's WrestleMania, and then we created this amazing build. Maybe there's something else out of this, but a couple things are true here. Number 1, that was not a good segment. Number 2, Rock ain't wrestling. And number 3, it's very possible that the 2 easy and like this very easy WrestleMania build for 2 box office matches, Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Rock versus Roman Reigns, it's very possible that we get neither of those matches. And to me, that is ridiculous. And that is all at the feet of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That is not on Triple H. That is not on anybody in the board. That is all strictly on Dwayne Johnson, the guy who has the most power in the world to create moments and stuff, and he still is great at doing it. He's not giving you those matches. Yes, this is a decent alternative. The way they started, it was bullshit, but That's my take on this situation. I'll have another video, a message to the AEW incels about their reaction to this in a little bit, but I'm really intrigued to see where this is. But like I said, it still feels like a little bit of a letdown from where we were a year ago at this time. So anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.